Good morning. We are live at work today. Happy Thursday, folks. Glad you're here. I am Nicole. I am your Enlightened Enchantress, and I will be guiding you through this cosmic journey today. And we are coming at you live from a bunker near Area 51. And if you don't know me, I am Nicole Borghi, your Enlightened Enchantress, and I like to guide you on the journey of life, or the life as we know it to be. And it is vastly, vastly changing, many ways and many directions. And the point of this show, in this conscious conversation, is to carry you through that. Any change that you need to go through, anything in the cosmic universe at all, on a spiritual journey, spiritually awakening, becoming holistic, lining up with your chakras, right? And just knocking it out of the park every day. What we do is we talk about your health, your wealth. We talk about where's your brain at? Where's your brain health, your heart, and your stomach? Because the three of them are connected. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. And I am just checking that we've got everything up and running. Make sure that we get on Facebook. Hit me up in the chat and let me know what's going on, what you got. If there's anything that you want to hear about today, if there's anything you want to share, we absolutely welcome it, because I've got a wonderful, wonderful guest on today. And you will see her in just a minute and get to meet her. She's a wonderful girl, somebody that I've talked to quite a few times and is part of my group. And she is just outstanding. She's here to bring you some knowledge and to help you heal your soul. Because in this journey of life right now that we are on, in this journey, we are all healing so much of ourselves and so much of our show, our soul, on the show, right? So I am trying to talk and share things at the same time. I'm almost done, and that way you can have my full attention and I can give you some healing energy. But first, let's do a little bit of housekeeping today. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about things, tips and tricks that heal your soul. And this is essential oil. This is doTERRA essential oil. It's DDR prime. And what does it do? It is huge, because I am an alchemist. I work with change. I work with your soul level at a cellular level. And you want to change. You've got to change your DNA imprint. And that's what many of us are learning on our journey. What are we learning? We are learning about ancient wisdom and healing our past lives and what our families have done, and bringing that tragedy up, out, recognizing it, loving it, forgiving it, and letting it free. And how do you do that? You build up your immune system. You build up your soul. You build up your connection, your faith and trust in yourself. You ignite your intuition, and you stay healthy. And how do you stay healthy? You take things like this, and you can take this internally. I love it. I put even a little on my face every day in my lotion, because it changes the cellular level and the cellular makeup of your skin. So from inside and from outside, that is how we improve ourselves. There's tips and tricks that I teach you. Always check it out on my YouTube channel. Check out the series, Elevate Emotions. It's about how to use simple things like essential oils. This great one, Prosperity. I had such a pleasure to share this with people at the Heartfilled Summit. It has rosebuds in it. Mine's almost gone. It is beautiful. It's got cinnamon, frankincense, and some other beautiful things. Check out my webpage, sabotagesmasher.com. Go to www.sabotagesmasher.com and go ahead and get my book. Subscribe today. You'll get a newsletter. I had a bit of a difficulty. So if you're looking for the newsletter this week, I'm going to hit you up after the show today. It may be a little bit late, but you'll get some good tips and tricks always. How to elevate your emotions, how to elevate your space, your energy. We're all energy. And how do we utilize that, right? That is what it's all about. Everything. If you bring everything together and you're constantly making a change, are you adding a little bit of exercise? Are you getting on the treadmill, right? What are you eating? Add some wonderful things to your diet. Okay. We all get afraid of that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. How you can just add one or two things What one thing can you change? From my friend Carol Boston here. What one thing can you change today to make your life better and easier and more abundant? We'll talk more about that as well. And as always, add crystals and some good stuff. So I got a good download this morning when I did my meditation today, and I want to share this energy with you. What I picked up in this energy, it's constantly changing. We went through Mercury retrograde, and last year we went through the birthing of the women and the change, the birthing of life, a new life. And birthing is not fun for those of us who have had children. It is a blessing in and of itself, but it can be a painful experience. We feel the pain. We are bringing a human to the world, and there's no easy way to go about it. So you are going to have some struggles. You are going to have some glorious times. And once that baby is born, there is something so beautiful with that birth, right? And we are talking about the birth of our emotions, the birth of our planet, the rebirth is what we're talking about, right? On that level, how you change at a cellular level, how you change your life. Our businesses have changed. The way we talk to people has changed. We are adding things, and if we push them away, what's going on right now in the world is if we continue to push those bad emotions away, if we continue to push people in our life that need to love us, or we continue to refuse to forgive, to recognize and acknowledge what our life is truly about, being that awareness, if we continue that, it will come at us wholeheartedly. It's just going to hit us in the head like a big water balloon and say, hey, here I am, splash, right? That is what's going on right now. And we need to prepare for that. So that's what you need to prep for. Be a spiritual prepper. Understand. Be healthy, mind, body, and soul. And that will help you heal your emotions and the people around you. Because every time you heal, the people around you will heal, right? It's just like that meditating and prayer. As long as you build up your energy, everyone around you will either kind of go away if they don't like your happiness, or they will come to your life, and you will attract more and better human beings around you. The second thing that I got up was the strength and health. And again, it's great for this beautiful show. How synchronistic is it? Because we're going to talk to somebody who is all about health and wellness and how to get back to that where we're meant to be. And the third thing is the progress into the future. We need to progress forward instead of constantly failing. We need to accept one another. We don't need to force it on each other. We need to accept the people as they are, where they're at. And if they don't want to move forward, that's fine. They don't have to get on that boat and sail with you. You don't have to force it on them. So let's go ahead and bring in my guest. I think she stepped away for a moment, but when you are ready, Lisa, let me know. There she is. If you go ahead and unmute. This is my beloved guest here today. Her name is Lisa Vasquez, this beauty here today. Look at that wonderful smile. Good morning, Lisa. Thanks for being on the show today.
Nicole, thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. Lisa Vasquez coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you, Nicole. This is such a pleasure to be here. And with all this energy you just provided for our day together is just like awesome. I do strongly live on the fact of take time to make your soul happy. So big part of the whole circle of life. Big, huge. So I'd just like to introduce myself and let you know my name is Lisa. I've grown up and raised myself in the field of radiology for the last 40 years. Actually, this weekend, I celebrate my 6th decade, and I'm so looking forward to it. It's been an exciting journey every day of my life. So I specialize in breast health, breast cancer. I've been on that. I am a pioneer in my field in mammography. I've been on this breast cancer awareness and war fighting and helping women persevere through this challenge and journey that they go on. I've watched and learned true stories my whole life, every day of my life, I grew up in Chicago. So in those imaging centers where I was working at Northwestern University of Chicago, numerous women say, I mean, you'd have about 6 techs, but you'd have about 25 patients each. So every day, it's a new door that you walk through for every woman that you talk to, right? You learn and you see through their eyes. You get to hear the stories of whatever their conditions are, how happy they are, their health, their challenges. So I've grown up with this. When I started being 19, 20, these women had to be 50 years old to have a mammogram. So this is how I began living life, learning how to live through their eyes. They took me through the journey of life, death, birth, health, relationships, affairs. I mean, it's everything. It's crazy, but this is the path I walked on. And it's just been so incredible. It's so, the vibes that you receive and then what you get back and receive, they telling me something and I teach them something. If I hadn't the answer at the time, because being so young, I would learn and grow to find those answers for the next person that would have that question. I just continually am in search and continuing education. Of course, when you're in the field of medicine, you are always continuing on that field. But as I've come over into the last, I'd say about 30 years of the career, I started to, when I'm in my room, I'm looking out a lead shield glass. So I call that my window of opportunity as I'm imaging my women. So as I've been watching these women, I started to see a change in life. I started to see a change in health. I started to see a decline in their appearances, in their hair strength, in their attitudes. As we've grown up and developed, a lot of women go through a lot of health issues that are not understandable. And then sometimes we're turned away as, honestly, all your test results came out great, but there's nothing wrong with you. But there really is. And these are the things that we go through all the time. So then women just give up and just feel that this is the way, and not all women, of course. I mean, and men also. This is life. We're developing, we're aging. It's a process. These are the things, these ails and pains that we feel are just part of that growing up. And really, those little aches and pains are those things that can accumulate later on in your development as you're getting ready for that retirement. The accumulation has built up because it was ignored for so long that now, again, in this journey, I've seen so many people retire and they only had 2 to 3 years left. So we put so much energy into making that dollar and trying to get to that point, but we forget about ourselves. We forget about making the happy, healthy us. Actually, we don't even know who we are. And I developed that. I happened to have the opportunity to be in the Nevada America pageant.
Oh, wow.
It was really awesome, but the challenge was the judges and the questions. When it came time to really ask me, who am I? That was where it all came out, because I honestly couldn't really describe myself. I mean, there was so much in me I wanted to talk about and say, but who was I was the big question. So this put me on a new search to really find out so I could answer that, because I know who I am, but I didn't know how to design and express the knowledge and person that I am outside of my job. I love my work. I love the women. I love every day of that, but I needed to go search for me. So I had to go through a lot of spiritual changes. I went through challenges of, Tony Robbins. He just recently had a challenge where you eliminate all your negativity, where you get to express all this stuff that you harbor inside of you. And the release and peace that that brought was like so incredible, because you really break down. And nobody today, unless you really were in that challenge, and there was millions of people that were in that challenge, but in my circle, we harbor a lot of that and we hold on to it and we keep it.
Do you find that most people that work in your field are empathic and they take in a lot of that energy from their clients?
That's the other challenge that I see, and I can't really safe for them. But what I hear from women who've gone to other facilities to have been having the moment with other breast healthcare people, you know, some people don't talk, some people are just silent, and there's no education or energy coming from them. So
Right.
women are,
You feel that's a lot of what some of the challenge that you had to work through in some of that work. Were you working, if you don't mind me asking, in some of that inner child point, and things that you gathered from other women?
Actually, I was harboring it. I wasn't expressing it. Yes, I was not expressing it. I wasn't bringing it out because I'm happy every day with that energy. I was, you know, we become so systematic.
Right.
And you learn to create a real world in that world of pain that you live in. And you learn to circle yourself and make it right, because this is what you know, lessons learned. So breaking out of that lessons learned was the challenge, because I didn't even know. You don't know. It's just like stress. Sometimes we don't know that we're stressed. We're just working and working and working, and you don't know that you're stressed, but there's really a lot of stress there. And when you find out and release it, there is a lot of monkeys that fall off your back. So many. And so these are some of the things I've seen, and this is what led me into integrative nutrition health. Studied at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, holistic health coaching.
Yeah.
And there, by design, I had always dreamed that the end of my road would not just be in radiology, there'd be something more. And again, as you were talking about the energy, it's all around you, you create it, you bring it. That day came when 2017, I joined that program. And the biggest part of it was that now in this moment of health coaching, you get to talk spiritual, you get to talk medical, you get to talk relationships, careers, physical activity. You get to bring it all on a consult sheet. You know, I mean, I do consults every day with breast health histories.
Right.
But now it's a whole bigger consult, and finding that information in people and bringing that out is just so important, because people, we just sit there. Did you know that when we sit down and eat, there's more to the plate? I mean, we see the food, right? I mean, of course, you should have, you know, your vegetables, your fruits, your proteins, and your carbs in minimal amounts. But the relationship that goes with that plate, the physical activity that belongs to that plate,
That's huge.
the career, and then most of all, that spirituality. Because without that, as you were talking, that's really the whole ball of wax in the whole ball of our lives. And people are emotionally damaged. A lot of times when they get home, they're exhausted, not a lot of the time that they have to spend with the children, let alone their husbands, making that food, or into more fast food, since that was developed, when actually that's creating a lot more body sabotage, taking away from the family hour, the fun of creating those recipes together, being there, the scent.
That's and let me jump in right there. Is I believe that it's such a beautiful thing to be able to have that creation, because you're putting your energy in the food. You're giving it, you're blessing, you're mixing it up, you're stirring that pot, you're putting beautiful things in there, healthy things. And what is your mindset when you're creating that? And then adding that family to it. And adding that dynamic, like either I am blessing my family with this healthy food and giving them these beautiful nutrients and this delicious food on the plate, and then we can sit and talk, you know, and have the family dynamic around. And that's another nutrient that you're providing to your family, is sitting and talking about the food, how that food heals, and you know, just giving that, and it just compounds how it is going together, and the things that we have forgotten, the things that we didn't do, or the things that we don't even think of when we're in a hurry, when we're working together, right? You know, when we're doing the fast food thing in the drive-through. And even if you go to some of these raw food places out here, some of them have a drive-through in them. But the thing is, you know, if you can just put that on the food, put that healthy energy on that food and say, okay, let's add a higher vibration to this for now. You know, you got to forgive yourself, but it is very important to understand what you're eating. And I'm a research fanatic. So I've got to, what's in it? What's it made from? Where did it come from? But I had to realize that, you know what? I can't worry about that because that's another stress. You know, I'm not getting the right food. The food's not organic. And I hear you. I'm with it 100%. As long as you can get these healthy foods that come from a great place and are served with good intentions, you know, what's energy does that server have if you're eating in a restaurant, or the people in the grocery store in there? If you start to worry about that, because I'm an empathic being, but you know, it creates such a spiral of stress. And I believe that we need to get back to that point where, you know what, I'm comfortable. This is what I've decided to put into my body right now, and I'm going to be okay with it. Because then it creates shame. And how much guilt do we get because we ate something through the drive-through, right? And we put that back into our food, and it's just such a cycle to go back and forth. And it's just, my thing is really get people to understand where they're at and be aware, right? And I'm sure it has so much to do with their health. I know, you know, you talk about breast health. I didn't really get it. I didn't really understand what it meant to have that good breast health or to eat healthy all the time and what it caused. You know, I had, for people who haven't heard my story, I've had a lot of illnesses that I've overcome, and that's what's driven me towards that healthier conscious, and becoming an herbalist and a healer and all these other wonderful things. But understanding how it reflects you and your atmosphere, such you know, a lot of mental health in that, and you hold it in your body. You don't want to bring it out, right? Like you mentioned earlier, we didn't want to talk about it. We didn't want to talk about healing ourselves or going to the doctors, you know, because if I went to the doctors one more time, that means that I was going to get sick yet again. And so as long as I didn't go to the doctor, I would be afraid for years to even go and say, oh, I can't go, because that means that they'll find something. And so that mindset, then again, and you're just compounding it. And it's cold. And I think that, you know, you go into those places, it's cold. Sometimes the atmosphere can be negative because so many people are there in bad health. But seeing people like you, and that's why I wanted you to come on, is you have such a positivity and you're so willing to acknowledge it. And you speak about this and how women's health, what really got you on that journey to start with, to say, hey, I want to help heal women and bring them back.
Growing up in Chicago, it's outside of Chicago, I grew up on. And I had siblings, they're 5, 4, and 6 years older than me. So I was kind of in my own little group by myself. So I watched TV, of course, like everyone else, but I was inspired by that girl. Okay. She was always getting rejected, going into her little moves, you know, chasing the dream. And then you had Mary Tyler Moore, right?
Yeah.
She threw that head up because, wow, she's going to do it. You know, Elizabeth Montgomery, loving the family lifestyle, the beautiful home, the husband that came home, things like this. So these are the things that you grew up on. I mean, growing up in Chicago, you're full of a lot of metropolitan life, right? So I didn't know how come they have that sun in their yard, or, you know, why does Mr. Kool-Aid come in and there's a beach, you know, the ocean, things like that, because I only had a lake and my waves weren't going up like that. You know, have people surfing, you go to the lake, you sit there, sailboats, you know, beautiful. But I was like, where is all that happening? So you go in search to chase these dreams and chase this discovery. So then soap operas, okay? Everybody started at 12 o'clock, ended at 3 with all the soaps. So General Hospital was a big factor in my life because that took away from everything because it was medical. And in metropolitan area, you have a lot of downtown living styles or a lot of medical livings or police force. So this is what took me into the medical. I wanted to wear that white coat. I wanted to be in that cafeteria having that conversation. I wanted to help. And this is how that journey began and developed. I was 15, 18 years old. I was accepted into the School of Radiology, which St. Joseph Hospital is the hospital I was actually born at. And 18 years later, they gave me a career. And today, I'm ever so thankful for that, because every day, again, the rewards, by the end of my day, it's a very rewarding day. I mean, I don't have to feel that I have to take my job home where, there's a lot of static coming out of me and craziness, because it's so many things have been answered during that moment. So many people left me. Some people wrote letters saying, I walked away singing like a bird, or this or that, or this or that, because back to what you were saying, that what people create around people, women kind of, after having a mammogram, and depending where they went and depending their moment that they had, and depending of their state of health that they're in, that can be hormonal imbalance, they can be premenstrual, they can be very high stress, they can have a lot of caffeine. These are all big containments of why a mammogram would really, outside of, I'm not saying that the tech didn't, over compress or something, but outside of that, that tenderness that happens to the breast, right? So these people have this story when they leave there. Oh my God, it hurt so bad. It was crazy,
Right.
And now
I've had those. I've had the good and bad.
Yes, and then they go and tell other people when they're saying, I'm going to go get my mammogram tomorrow. Oh my God, they're going to hurt you. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And that person gets scared for 2 more years and says, okay, maybe not. And then she doesn't come for 2 more years.
But that's huge, because let's address that. When I had a cyst removed, and I tell people things, I'm honest with you. Hey, these are the things that I've healed. I've went through surgeries, and I don't want to do any more surgeries. I'm refusing that, because I want to try to heal internally as much as I can. And to share that point with other women, I want other women to know that, hey, it's a scary thing to do. And so that was in 1999. 2020, 21 years later, is when I decided I'll go back. But that is, again, that sense of what happened, what tragedy was going on, what was happening in my life, or how did I even get to that point? And that's changed. So much has changed when we talk about diet, nutrition, and the people and the energy around us. And it's great to have somebody that has your experience and knowledge and training, and now you're doing that health coaching. So you know where people can get if they're not taking care of themselves, or you know how they can heal from that point. There may be something which causes you to have a surgery or something come up, and that, okay, well, now I can heal faster. Now I can be stronger. Now I can be better. And then your mindset just totally changes when you are aligned, right? You see a difference in people as they start to understand and embrace that health coaching.
Yes. Yes, you really do see a difference, because in the whole field of health coaching to begin with, most health coaches already have a problem, just as you said. You research, you develop to find out what's wrong, what's really happening here. That's what most health coaches took a journey on, because they couldn't find the right answers. Nobody was helping them. They went into the books themselves. They figured it out. They became with the answers, and now they come to be a health coach so that they can help a person in diabetes or other chronic illnesses that appear, because they fought through it and created a change in themselves. And now, and it's just like diet books. All our years, we've always had a diet book, right? There's always a new diet coming out, back from the 70s, 80s, and some of the 90s. You really don't see a lot of diet books now. You see a lot of self-help and change your ways. But diets back then were all created out of people that went through it, lost the weight, and now they wrote a book.
Right.
We're all bio individuals. So any diet's going to help you and change you for the first 6 to 8 weeks. But it's really setting yourself up for the whole lifestyle change forever. Not just those 6 to 8 weeks because it happened and okay, and now you start feeding off whatever again, and here you go, you're back to where you started, and women come and they just get so tired because I've tried everything, from diet pills to what have you. I mean, all those different things that came out back then. And nothing ever happened because, as we know today, we're a health coach. I also study functional medicine. Functional medicine is root causes. Because I studied the body inside out for so long, I've always seen stomach. When you come in for a stomach exam, you're drinking your barium, I'm watching the whole system light up, all this. But to know the root causes now and to investigate why you're so low on acid or why, those hormones have changed. There's more deeper root causes to all these things. But now that's so much more 40 years later in discovery of where we're at today. So the health section that we're on with health coaching, teaching people to retool. Yeah. Everything has been rebooted, from your computer to your car to your systems to the new radios, the satellite systems we receive, everything, except people are not rebooting themselves, retooling themselves with what's out there, as you were saying.
You need to upgrade. You need to upgrade with everything else. You need to change your energy frequency and upgrade your programming
to be investment. Yes, but the investment is what scares them when you go to healthy food stores and it costs more. I find that as your 401k body health investment, you're going there so you can invest today so that you get to keep your money today to use for your retirement and vacation time and fun time, not to take that money and invest it in your healthcare later, because now you have to pay medical bills and use everything that you worked so hard for. Now you're always at the doctor's and you can't go on that vacation.
That's huge. That's huge, because as your medical changes, you're paying more out of pocket. So why wouldn't you just pay that out of pocket to you? It's self-care, self-love. The more you love yourself, the more people around you love you. You take time for yourself. Everything's on that Webernet out there. The wonderful world of Google space, right? You can get out there and you can find something and just spark your interest. Get ignited so you start to understand, and talk to a health coach, talk to some type of life coach, somebody that's really going to help you address where you're at and help you and assist you on that path. Because if for so many years you've been eating cheeseburgers or drinking Jack Daniels and smoking, a pack of cigarettes a day or wherever you were in life, it took you so long to get here. And just think of all the money that you invested through the years.
For sure.
Now you got to detox it. Now you got to get it out. Now you got to pivot. Now you got to reboot. Now you got to reprogram. It's going to cost you a little bit of an upgrade, but that's an upgrade to a healthy, happy life. Those times that we're miserable, we're sabotaging, we're in bad mental health, we're depressed. How do you change some of that? Change it from inside out, right?
Re-image inside out. That's the name of my Facebook private group, is Re-image, seeing you from the inside out, because I want to take you to the inside. I want you to see, because growing up, my whole life was developed on the inside because that's what I seen. I didn't see this. This came out of that, but I developed. Everything was from the inside. What am I putting into this garden? What am I raising in this treasure chest of mine? What, is this creating my tomorrow? Am I benefiting from this? What I'm doing today? What did when I went to sleep, what did I do that was good for me for tomorrow? And so on, because that's what I want to accumulate, because I want to have that vacation time. I want to have that fun time when it comes time farther down to the longevity road, which at this point with my father, he's 95 years old. I mean, and he's doing great. I talk to him every night. I mean, the other night it was like 10:30 and he's telling me he's going to go do his laundry. He lives in an independent living. So he's going downstairs to do his laundry. And I'm like, sometimes I wish I didn't know those things, but, because I'm worried about him. I'm thinking, oh my God, what if he falls?
Right. Right.
Yourself. He's no. I sit there, I read my book. I even asked him the next day, so what time did you finish? And I got back at 2 a.m. Oh, good, Dad. So it's really interesting because growing up with my parents, they also at the time said, and this is another big point I want to bring because people don't see this. They know of it, it exists, but they don't see it in person. Working with the elders.
Mm-hmm.
Elders cannot take care of themselves. So many seniors that I work with today, had they known what we know now, would be a lot happier. And so, the first thing they'll tell me is don't get old, don't get old. Well, we can't avoid that. But my parents raised us with the idea that they wanted to stay independent. Don't worry about us. We're not going to have you be, we're not going to have you taking care of us later. They wanted to have that independence. And to date, my mother passed away at age 82, and that was a mishap in medical that overlooked something. Other than that, she had been great all the way. And today, again, my father's still going strong and living his independent life. And it's crazy. But in my field, when I see caretakers come in to help the elder during exam with me, it's hard when you see that, because you really have to know that these are our end days and we're all headed that way.
Right.
You can't stop the vehicle. That's where it's heading. You know what I mean? What you want to do is turn that vehicle around if you're not on the right direction to get there. But to see them and in front of me, sometimes it's hard to watch, because as much as the little person is trying to do what she needs to do, sometimes it's the impatience of the caretaker, because
Right.
you know what I mean? It's a whole different story, and this isn't to offend any of them. It's reality and it's life, and this is what's happening. So when women are growing up today and thinking about these things, where they're at right now, meeting them in this moment, looking at what they've done from the past and what's brought them to where they're at.
Right.
Before you start crossing over out of your 40s into those 50s, you really have to start looking at yourself, because that's where the hormones are leaving, the messengers are leaving, all these things are starting to change. It's like having a newborn baby again in your body, because you're on a new life. People don't know that. We just keep riding the bike through and through and through on that same engine, because we think that it's going to keep going, but that's when you really have to stop and do that checkup. 50,000, 60,000, 40,000 mile checkups. These are all very important in life, to understand yourself, to understand the digestive system that's happening inside you, because your gut health, 90% of disease comes from that.
That's huge, and that's what a lot of people don't realize is if your gut health, you're not taking your probiotics, your enzymes, your apple cider vinegar, your oils, what have you, if you're not aligned with supplements and getting that good nutrition in there, and you're not eating healthy, then that's why you got brain fog. That's why you can't sleep right, because you're still trying to digest that bad food or whatever you ate. Or if you ate and you added that negative energy in it, your gut health is so huge. And if your brain's not working, your gut health's bad, your heart's right in the middle of that. How is your heart supposed to be happy? I mean, physically, it's not going to function well, but the other thing is mentally, emotionally, you're going to relate to that food, and you're on the level that your food's at and where your gut's at. So if it's sitting there in your gut and you're not getting your lemon, you're not drinking your water, you're not digesting, you're not alkalizing, you're not doing this stuff, think about it, guys. That's why Tums and Rolaids are out there. That's why people are taking all these digestion supplements and things. They gotta go to their doctor, because they're not being able to digest. And that's only like once in a while that you're supposed to take that stuff, and you have to take it. And again, how much is that costing you? If you ate a healthy at least a couple times a day, and you did the best that you could with what you have, and even if you meal prep, I talk about it all the time, meal prep, have good food in your house. If you do that, it's a lot cheaper than having to go get all that that stuff done, right? You got to go to see your doctor. You got to pay out of your pocket. You got to worry about your health insurance. Well, if you do good, you get a health coach, you get a coach that says, hey, let's change your mindset, let's change your body. You're going to see a difference. It takes time because it took time to get there and you haven't taken the garbage out. I'm sure your house smells because your body.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. The alley, the toxins. And as you were saying, the heart, the function with the toxins that we're eating, because as you said again, with the fast foods, we don't know what oils they're using. I used to love this one wrap that I was eating, and it was really, really great. And then one day, this girl that I was bringing to eat this with me, she was on a certain diet where she was watching some things during this workout program she was on. She investigated and called them up to find out. And then when she told me, I had to stop eating it. So I was like, oh my God, because of the oils that they were using. They were
Right.
very well. And I was like, wow, really? Because it was so good. And I was like, okay, well, there goes that. Because I never went to find out what oil are you using. You know, it was a wrap. It was a chicken wrap. It was very good for me.
But you're assuming because it's chicken that it's going to be healthier for you. But how are they cooking it? How are they storing it? Where do they get the chicken from? What journey did the chicken experience? Right. You know, really, you can get so caught up in it sometimes. But you know, you have to believe, and that's trusting yourself, trusting your intuition that you're going to guide yourself to the right choices. And the minute you start believing in yourself and you have somebody helping guide you on that path, you're going to understand and make better decisions. Because, you know, you brought your friend and she found out and she said, hey, now you found a better place maybe to eat something, right? Or something that you would have never thought to eat too. And that's the other thing. That's the other wonderful thing is you eat at better places. They have better food. I remember when I was younger, like you have Morningstar now. See the burgers, those veggie burgers, and my daughter does those. And hey, I'm a paleo person, but you know, you take those veggie burgers. My friends would make them out of dried packages. So it was in a box, kind of like a macaroni and cheese. It was in a box. You had to take all these seeds, smoosh it together and make your own patty. And I'm like, that's just not tasty. You know, it just wasn't tasty. And it's just like, there's why people will eat better if they make it easy, if they make it identifiable. What am I eating? You know, you can't tell me that vegan bacon tastes like bacon. It doesn't. I mean, you may make it well, but it just doesn't taste like bacon. But if you don't fool yourself and you say, hey, this is what I'm eating, this is what I know it to be, and this is how it tastes, there's better ways to make it. There's tastier ways to make it. I mean, you know, vegetarian stuff has changed so much over the years. And that's why a lot more people are able to embrace better nutrition. Because you know what to eat, you know, it's easier, it's readily available, especially if you went to a store and you went to find fruits and veggies. There's like, I took a trip back east one time and there was like maybe 2 or 3 vegetables. And it was in the middle of summer, a couple fruits, but this lady put in her cart, I kid you not, that they had this big block of lard. I'm thinking, I'm looking for fruits and vegetables. They're frying everything in some just gross stuff. So you have to think, okay, what's going on in your body? And it really made me stop and think, and I laugh about it now, but it made me really stop and think, okay, what am I putting in my body? How is my body? Food in, food out. What's going out? And how much does your body have to process that? That can take the energy, and that's why we're so tired afterwards, you know. You guys got to start detoxing, look into things like cell core biosciences, reach out to me, reach out to Lisa and say, hey, I need to start cleansing my body. I need to start healing my body. You will feel so different. And the cleansers and fruits and vegetables and tools are there for you. And it's not so scary anymore. Your body, when you take a detox, they're so much more gentler. And they're not scary where you can't go to work for a couple of days, right? Because you're cleansing your body out. And we all know the nightmare of that, right?
So yes.
Yeah. So it's like, it makes people not want to do it, but things are so easy. You can buy it off the shelf. You can order a product. You can talk to us and say, hey, how do I find and navigate the world where I can find healthier choices, where I can make better choices, where it's not so scary expensive, but it's an investment that I am financially investing, like you said, 401k. I'm financially investing in my future. I want to have a healthy life right now. And that's huge. It's huge. So what do you talk to with your clients when you have clients come in and say they want to talk to you about health? How do you assess them?
You have to go through a consult first. You really have to understand their whole day. You really need to know the journal of their food. I mean, sometimes you ask for pictures from their cabinets because you want to see what their food is, because what I think is not good, they're not going to think that. So by seeing it and showing it, people really are their own doctors. It really does live inside us. So the listening to the person, because for the first time, there's no judgment. Say, for instance, when you tell your girlfriend or whatever, I'm going to go on a diet tomorrow, whatever, and now she sees you eating. Well, I thought you just said that. Now you're being judged, and now you're, so you don't want to talk about it. But when you're with a health coach and you're consulting and you're learning this, you're actually hearing yourself for the first time, because it's all about you. So that big listening mindset factor is so important, because people don't have time to hear themselves because they have to keep going. They're just going and going and going. That's why with the relationships, when that emotional change, I mean, we all want to be right, right? Everybody is right. We're always, especially women, we're always right. Well, we want to be right, but we want to be happy. That's the biggest thing, So do you want to stay being right, or do you want to be happy? You can't always be right, because everybody around you is right. So, that caused the conflict when you're at home or wherever, going with people, because, okay, she's just going to be right. Well, not with health coaching. It's all up to you. It's in your moment. It's what you want to change. It's your lifestyle. It's where exploring the points of where you didn't even know you were breaking down. I mean, we cannot continue eating. And when you were talking about that indigestion and non-digestion, because we're still eating what we ate in our 20s. Well, we were fully vibrant and fully loaded with hormones and acids in our stomach and things to break that down. We just developed. By 35, you're kind of completely done, bone health and everything. But now you carry all that food into your 50s, you are sure not going to be digesting it.
No.
There's a lot of chronic constipation. But people find that as a norm. You know what I mean? I mean,
that's such a scary thing. When I did in-home care, they would tell them 3 days is okay. And I'm like, oh, that's toxin building in your body. They would tell patients that. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yes, I
know.
know.
Like, you're living with filthy garbage in your body. You got to let it out.
And you ask them, and sometimes they have to think back, when was their last exit out of digestion? When did they last release that? And they don't know. And it is piling up. I mean, you have 200 feet of this inside of you, this little spiral colon and small bowel that you have that's filled up. And, we do studies on that at work, where you're drinking something and we literally have to keep you there because we're watching you every 30 minutes. We want to see, why is it taking so long to pass through? Some people can be there for 4 hours. And we have to ask you to like walk around our department or something, because you have to keep moving it. Now imagine people who are on the road, truckers. That's why they have indigestion.
You've got to do, that's why I'm so into detox. That's why I got so into cell core biosciences. It's because get it out, let it out. Herbs, oils, same thing for digestion. Let it out, because it balances your body. You put it in, it's got to go somewhere.
Yes.
It can come out your pores. So ladies, if you don't want bad skin, if you don't want it to come out and show on your skin somewhere, and you're hind in too, because we're sitting on more and more on Zoom, so we don't move around, and it just comes out your body. It will come out somewhere, or it'll block all kinds of stuff within your body, all kinds of places. You can get sepsis and all that scary stuff. And it's like, you don't want that to happen. Really, it's knowing, and it's talking to someone like you and knowing, hey, this is what could happen. It's not to scare you, but let's be aware of what happens so you can stop it, change it, move it, reprogram, right? And see the difference. What kind of difference do you see? I mean, that's got to be wonderfully amazing to see the change within
transformation it really is. I mean, from somebody who has a lot of anxiety and just lays there and doesn't want to get out of bed, and suddenly now you have them actually working out and being active and enjoying life again. It's really unbelievable to see. The people that I've worked with and seen these transformations, it's really incredible, and very rewarding, because you see that happiness, and this is a lifetime change now. This is a lifestyle change. It's not just one time, because they don't want to go back. They usually don't want to go back. So, once you start finding that path of happiness and finding yourself, it just opens up so much more, because now you can go to work and be you, not just the worker that you are, and that person that, everybody wants to be a good steward at work. Then I see the women that come back at age 58 because it was a small business and they didn't want to take off and they worked every day. Now they have 5 to 6 different ailments that they have to deal with now.
Right. And how are you rewarding yourself for the hard work you put in? You got to celebrate yourself. You've got to get that memorial book. You've got to celebrate you and the milestones you make by taking care of yourself too. Like have a spa day, go get a colonic, whatever, however you want to do it. Celebrate yourself. It's huge.
Do you ever hear of that flotation? Have you ever done flotation spa?
No, I've heard about it.
Okay, yes. Well, I did it, and it was really incredible. It really is. So, but before I talk about that, I want to talk about water.
Yeah.
This digestive tract, because I want to know, do you want to live in an oasis or do you want to live in a dry desert? People don't think about that. They don't understand what's happening to the kidneys and what's happening. There you go. I know. I have
water with lemon.
They think this is coffee.
Lemon oil, and I put lemon. Yeah.
Hot water. Hot water. That's mine. Hot water all the time. But people do not drink water. They don't like water. They don't like the taste of water. And that's a hard passage to fight through.
And that's what I tell people, put oil, you can change it where you're not putting like a added chemical additive, but you could put something natural in it, like a drop of lemon, a drop of peppermint, lavender, something in water that you can drink. And now you infused your water, lemons, cucumber, it's more beneficial. It alkalizes your body. It's so different. I never drank water. I mean, I had Jack Daniels and there was Coca-Cola if I wanted something separate, right? So that was so many years ago, but so things had to be sweet. Things had to have junk in it. And now I realize, okay, I feel better. And there's ways to make it taste good, people. Just do it. Just try a little bit. Every time you drink a soda, add some water, right? Just try it out. You don't have to just cut it out, because then you'll never want to do it again. That's the other thing, is we go to the opposite end of that.
Coffee drinkers. I mean, I understand drinking coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. But when I hear the length of time people have drank so much coffee every single day of their lives, they've increased it to 2 cups, 3, 4 cups a day, not understanding how much dehydration they're putting inside their body, because they're not mastering next to another cup of water. For every cup of that coffee, you need to double that water to refill what you just dehydrated. That's another thing that takes over on your skin and your appearance, and you're tired and your energy. It's big factor.
Water. It's got electrolytes and it's
yes,
right?
Yes, a reboost.
Yeah, and there is so much, folks, that you miss. And we want to help enlighten you and illuminate you to understand that there is a tool, a tip, or a trick that someone like me has struggled for years to find out. Oh, I can do this. This is easy. Now I can like it. I can enjoy it. For you out there, that's what we're here for, is to teach you, show you, assist you, help you to understand that there's something simple. And you don't have to do, if you don't like it, then you're not going to, if you don't enjoy what you're doing and you don't love and embrace what you're doing, then you're not going to be happy, and you're still not going to have that success in life. work, life, relationships, because you're force feeding yourself something that you think you should do, you should do. In theory, it's great, but you're not really happy with it. So find a way that you can mesh with it and enjoy it, right? And that's, it's very wonderful to alkalize your body. You got a drop of lemon in there. That's like maybe 5-10 cents, maybe even 3 cents. I don't even remember. And you got to buy alkaline. It alkalizes your body if you put lemon in it, even the whole lemon. If you do that, you want to talk price saving, you're not paying $5 for a bottle of alkaline water. That's why you talk to people that have gone that route and can understand it. If you want to talk price point where you can start to afford and wrap your head around what's this expense for, it's because we can help you make your life easy and fun and relatable and change it where you're not, we're not trying to put you in debt, but we want you to understand that beautiful investment that you're putting in your vehicle. And so you could drive that body a lot longer and you can have better relationships. You have better loving relationships. It changes that dynamic too of the people that you're around and the people that are around you and opening up to that love too. It's totally different.
Totally. And just as you said, that investment, when we're one small change, depending on what you like to eat. I mean, if it's a meat, if it's your vegetables, whatever, you want to stay away from the toxins, right? So say you're big on chicken, so stay with organic chicken if that's what you eat most of the time. Yeah, that's just one big change all by itself, and then little by little, you could start stopping the pesticides that are on your vegetables.
And it tastes better.
Organic, yes. And then, but it's little by little. It's not going to happen overnight. The acquired taste, it's in you. It's not going to go away for a long time. I mean, these are sensations. Your mind is hijacked from this. You'll always think of those craves. It's not going to go away until you learn to turn away and say no. I always give the words of practicing in the mirror. No, thank you. No, thank you. And no
boundaries.
Yes, because so many work parties, what do you call those, potlucks and things like that. Everybody brings it and everybody runs to the table. I did that for the last 40 years. I don't know how big I would be. Those are where I have to say, no, I'm not, I'll contribute, but I don't join in because I have to pick and choose my calories.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? Just that's the other thing. Be able to say no, be able to have boundaries. And if you do, forgive yourself. It's okay. If you decide to have a piece of creamy cake, you know what? We'll still love you no matter what. We're still here for you. We'll still support you. Go detox. Put the coffee in the enema bag and clean out, right? You'll wake up, you'll have better energy, you'll feel better. And have a better brand of coffee if you're a coffee drinker. It makes a difference. So if you try those little changes, your life will be different where you're not having to sacrifice. And that's what most of us, and we're running short on time, my love, but
I know we're having a great time.
Enjoy life. So how do people find you?
I have, it's called helpmywellbeing@gmail.com. This is my email. And I have a private Facebook group, Reimage Seeing You from the Inside Out. So my name is Lisa Vasquez and Nicole. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much. So much. This is a beautiful moment for everybody that watches you. Thank you for bringing me on to share my side of living a great lifestyle.
You're amazing. If there's any other words you have, all your information that you sent me will be up on YouTube, be up there on Spotify, and will be on iTunes. We are on Google Podcast, so you'll be able to you'll listen to Lisa again. It'll be probably about 24 to 48 hours before it gets up there. But in the meantime, go to YouTube, like and subscribe to the Facebook channel. You'll find Lisa everywhere. She's wonderful, as you can see. Any last words, my friend?
Just be aware, be proactive, be loving to yourself, most of all, and praise your higher self. Be in touch with your energy and your higher self. Thank you, Nicole. Keep your soul happy.